What up, everybody? It's your boy Crazy Al Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, in the place to be. We're going to talk about the top 24-inch BMX bikes, the ultimate list for 2025. That's right. I got a whole bunch of 24-inch BMX cruisers in this list right here. You can check it out on sugarcane.com, but we're going to go over them right now because people don't talk about 24-inch bikes enough. We just don't talk about 24-inch BMX bikes enough. We talk about 26-inch. We talk about 27.5-inch. We talk about 29-inch. The cats, we talk about 32s and 36s. And, of course, 20 inches and OS 20s and 22 inches. But nobody really be talking about the cruisers unless they racing at a race at a national or gold cup or local. Then we talking about 24 inches. Sometimes we talk about them during street, but we don't really talk enough about 24 inches. We're going to talk about 24 inches right now, though. Say you, the 20 inches too twitchy for you. The 20 inches way too twitchy for me, you know, because your skills ain't really up to par to handle a 20 inch. It ain't really the 20 inch. It's your skills that ain't up to par to really ride the 20 inch. So actually, you're twitchy, not the bike. You're twitchy. So you don't want to ride a 26 inch because 26 inch is a little too much for you. You still like that 20 inch feel. The OS 20, those are kind of hard to find, but that's another good size. But you also have the 22 inch, which is another good size. But you still want to have that bigger feeling, like a little bit bigger than those sizes. But you still want to be able to play with your bike and, you know, do all kind of stuff on it. 24 inch is really the perfect size for that. You know, some of them are 2025 bikes, some of them are 2024. Some of them are actually older than that, but they're still available. So we're going to go over it right now. We're going to scroll down here now. That's what we're going to do. We're going to scroll down and see what the first bike is on the list. Now, this isn't the number one bike. This is just the first bike on the list because this is not done in any particular order. So anyways, we have the Throne Goon 24 inch. The Throne Goon 24 inch, which comes in at $600. So this is an affordable 24-inch bike. This is part of the wheelie bike segment, but you can also race with it. You can also do tricks with it, all kind of stuff. And the paint job on this bad boy is nice. I love the red and gold, but it also comes in different colorways, which is awesome. And let's go into a little bit of the stats on this bike and see what it's made of. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to know that. So the frame is TIG welded alloy 6061 T6, which is a good thing. You also have a chromoly fork, which is 1 1/8, which is a good thing. You got Throne sealed bearing headset, alloy handlebars, Throne alloy 3-piece cranks, double walled wheels, flip-flop hub for if you want to ride fixed or if you want to ride freewheel. So that's pretty dope. 16 tooth. Sealed hubs, mechanical disc brakes, and alloy pedals. So that's what you get with the Throne, which is a solid bike, especially for $600. Most important thing is that it's a 6061 T6 frame, which means the frame is good. And if you want to make it better, you can add different parts and upgrade it all kind of ways you want, knowing that you have a really good, a well-built frame. So shout out to Throne for representing for the 24-inch squad. Next up, we got a 2024 Chase Element Pro Cruiser, which is coming in at $1399.99. Chase is super legit when it comes to race frames. So this frame here is Hydroform 7005 T6 alloy, which means it's stiffer and it's lighter than 6061. So this bike is lighter and stiffer just off the rip because the frame is made out of 7000 series alloy. So you have the Icon forks, which are tapered. You have a Chase stem. You got Chase handlebars, inside chainring, XS crankset, 180 millimeter. You got the Chase Element wheel set, you know, with the Chase Element hub. You got the Chase Element cassette hub. You got Paul's triple angle engagement 24 tooth ratchets rear hub with 18 tooth cog. You got Sunn Ringley rims. You got Tioga Faster tires. You got the textural hydraulic brake lever and caliper. I mean, this bike is loaded with top of the line parts. You got Chase Arrow seat. Bike comes in at 21.7 pounds, which is super light, especially for a cruiser. They even give you the rider size. The suggested rider size is 5 foot to 6'1". So if you're between 5 foot or 6'1", this bike is the right size for you. Top tube length is 21.5 inches. Chainstay length is 15.25. Bottom bracket height is 12 inches and head tube angle 73. This bike out the box has everything you need, especially if you're a novice, intermediate, and even an expert. You can hop on this bike out the gate and get busy, and this bike is ready for that action on the track. Now, if you're somebody who likes to ride trails, do tricks, and also race, this bike it can handle it. but it's not made for that. You know what I'm saying? But you can still get busy on an aluminum bike at the trails. At the skate park, though, you might want to be a little careful. You might want to change the wheel set. You know what I'm saying? Even though that wheel set can probably handle a lot. And I really should do that. I should do a test of some of these race bikes, these race completes, to see how much they can actually take, because these bikes are made way better than back in the day, you know, and it'd be cool to see how they can handle just day-to-day abuse from somebody who does more than just race. So moving on to the next bike, which is another chase element. And this chase element is the Pro Plus. So the Pro Plus is a little bit longer, and it comes in at 22 inches on the top tube. So it gives you more rider area, so the taller riders can do it. So if you're like 5'6" to like 6'3", 6'4", you can probably ride that and be comfortable on it. The bike comes in 2 sizes, and both bikes come in this colorway with the red, black, and sand colorway that they have on here. Or you can also get it in the black and gray colorway. So if you don't have the budget to get the full bells and whistles bike, they also have the Chase Edge Pro Cruiser, which is pretty much the same, but except it doesn't have as many high-end parts on it. So it comes in at $709.99. So you save a lot of money with that, almost half the amount of the other bike. And this frame here is a Chase Edge Pro frame, 21.5 top tube. Geometry is pretty much the same. You got triple butted hydroform 6061 T6 alloy, enclosed rear dropouts, integrated chain tensioning system. You got the Chase Edge Cruiser. This is a full chromoly fork instead of the carbon fork on the other bike. You got the Chase stem. You got the Chase Edge handlebars, which is 5.75 rise. You got integrated sealed bearing headset, no name, so you get the less expensive headset. You got the Insight chain ring. You got a Chase Edge 2-piece alloy cranks. These are 175, so that's the difference. The crank arm length on the Edge is different than the Element. And actually, I prefer 175s. I used to love 180s. I was 180 since I was a kid, and then I wound up riding 175s and fell in love with 175. So yeah, there's that. You have the Chase Edge hubs. You have the Chase Edge rims, 175 double walled. You got the Tioga power blocks, not the faster, but the power blocks on this one. Chase Edge Pro pivotal seat, and this bike weighs a little bit more at 22 pounds. So since the top tube is 21.5, you have the same rider size recommendation for this, which is 5 foot all the way to 6'1". All right, next up in the game, we have a 2025 Inspyre evo-c disc, which is coming in at $1299.95. It's a nice looking bike, different colorway, and it has gives you another option, a bike to choose if you want to be different on the track and not have the same bike everybody else has. So you have the Inspyre. The folks from Inspyre say there are some exciting updates for the 2025 version, including the addition of new Pride Matrix fork from Pro size and up, as well as the new SD B85 crankset. The evo-c complete range comes in 7 different sizes, so you have the cruiser size and all the other sizes. The frame is an inspired bicycle frame. It's a 6061 T6 aluminum. You're going to see that a lot today on these frames. You have the Pride Racing carbon fork, Shimano disc brake kit, Tioga faster tire on the front, and a Tioga power block on the rear. That's interesting. You got the Pride Race integrated headset, swell rear dropouts with integrated chain tensioners, 100% sealed bearings all around. You have the Forward Joyride V2 rear hub. Never heard of Forward. I gotta look them up, but you have the Forward Joyride V2 rear hub, which has 150 points of engagement, which is crazy, and it has a KMC Z1 chain. That is the top of the line Inspyre evo-c disc, which means they probably have one that's not a disc, and you can also get V brakes for that. We're gonna find out as we scroll down, because I done took the whole lineup and talked about it. I put the whole lineup on this joint here now. We got the 2025 Inspyre Evo Disc Pro, which is coming in at $799.95, a little more in the States, of course. This one is an inspired frame, which has 6061 T6 aluminum. It has disc brakes, a little bit lower end disc brakes, Alhanga disc brakes, never heard of those. Tioga power block tires all around. 100% sealed bearings, BSA bottom bracket, Inspyre Evo hubs with 3-pulse engagement system, which is 100% sealed, and KMC Z narrow chain. So that's this bike here, which is a little bit cheaper. Doesn't have the carbon forks on it. It has a chromoly fork, I believe. Did they even mention the fork in this? I don't think I read fork on it then. Hopefully the fork is chromoly. That's what I'm assuming. At $799, the forks better be chromoly. Next up, you have an even cheaper Inspyre bike. You have a 2025 Inspyre Neo Cruiser. The Neo Cruiser is the bike designed for new BMX race riders. It has all the essential features that help you get started and progress in the sport. That's what they say there. So this has a 6061 T6 aluminum frame. Like I said, you're going to see that a whole lot. Integrated headset, 3-piece aluminum cranks. Optimized gear ratio, but they don't tell you what the gear ratio is. It has flip-flop rear hubs, and on a bike like that, the flip-flop means you can do 16 tooth freewheel, or you can do the smaller freewheel, which is the 15 and the 14 tooth freewheel. That's what that flip-flop means. But the throne flip-flop, I'm pretty sure that one was fixed gear flip-flop. Next up, we got the Goose. We got the Mongoose Title Elite 24-inch. This was at $649, and that was the price when I did this article. And hopefully bikes that are still in stock are at these prices, but you do know there's a tariff coming, which is going to mess up everybody's price. So all the prices on all the bikes are going to go up. Everything's going up. So just keep that in mind, that these prices may not be the same by the time you go get these bikes because of the tariff. So you have that whole thing going on. All right, so you have the Title Elite Pro race bike, was designed for intermediate to pro level skill. So if you have an intermediate pro level skill, you can hop on this bike, get busy. Of course, this is at a price point where it's more affordable, which means it's not going to be as high end as far as the parts are concerned. But the frame, of course, is really good. All you got to do is upgrade the parts. The frame is Tectonic T1 aluminum biaxial hydroformed and butted. It has BMX race geometry, 86mm press fit bottom bracket shell, internal cable routing, 3D forged 10mm dropout, and a tapered head tube. All the things, all the essentials to make this a good racing bike. It has the Samox 2-piece aluminum 175 cranks, 24mm hollow spindle. That is a generic crank set to keep the price down, but also hold you down while you're racing until it's time for you to upgrade. The handlebars are 4130 chromoly handlebars, 28 inches wide, 6.5 inch rise bars. The forks are full 4130 chromoly. Head tube angle 73 degrees. Top tube 2175. Chainstay length is 15.4 inches. So this bike right here is made for somebody who's, you know, maybe 5'2" all the way to 6'2". You're getting a lot of bang for your buck out of this bike right here. Next up is the higher end Mongoose. You have the Mongoose Title Team 24-inch. That's coming in at $999 as of this taping. This is their flagship race bike. The Title Team is designed for the intermediate to advanced BMX racer who wants a high performance burner right out the box. The Title Team frame is pretty much the same as the Title frame, but there are a couple of differences. You have Tectonic T1 aluminum biaxial hydroform and butted BMX race geometry, 86mm press fit, same stuff on that. The forks though are Box X5 carbon fork. You have a aluminum tapered steerer, 20mm to 110mm through axle. You have the chromoly Mongoose handlebars. You got the different cranks. These cranks are the Exposure 2-piece aluminum cranks, 175mm. 24mm hollow spindle. It's just a better crank, and the same geometry as the Elite. It just has better parts. You know, the forks are a lot better, the cranks are better, the bars are pretty much the same, and this frame also has disc brakes as opposed to V brakes that are on the Title Elite. DK 6-pack. Now this one you could tell is more for street riding and trail riding. It's coming in at $469 at that price point. Let's see what the frame is made out of, you know. Because when it gets that low in the price, you know there's going to be something on that bike going to be sus. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're an expert rider and you're somebody who likes to jump off, you know, big things. You want to keep into consideration what's on this bike at that price point. So let's go see what is going on with this bike right here. DK got a nice little description though. They got a nice little description. It says the DK 6-pack 24 brings the quality of the 6-pack into the larger wheel cruiser ranks. So the DK 6-pack is originally a 20-inch BMX bike that they have. The DK 6-pack got its name at the trails but feels right at home at the park or in the streets. 4130 heat-treated chromoly mainframe is Inspyre with excellent geometry, 100% sealed bearings throughout, and a chromoly crankset with a 26-tooth aluminum sprocket, delivering the durability you need for every session. So the frame is 4130 heat-treated chromoly mainframe. It says mainframe. Why does it say mainframe? See, it says mainframe. That's tricky. It should say the whole frame. The whole frame should be 4130. It says the mainframe. Because, you know, some manufacturers will make the front triangle, so the front end of the bike, they'll make that full chromoly, but then they'll make the rear end of the bike high 10. So give me a red flag right there with the wording. The 4130 heat-treated chromoly mainframe. Once again, it's 21.5 top tube, which is great, especially if you're a taller rider. The cranks are wise tubular chromoly 3-piece cranks, 170 millimeter. Chainstay length is 14.75. It has a shorter chainstay length than the race bikes because this is for like popping your bike up, doing bunny hops, hitting the trails, jumping up real high. But you can take this to the track if you want to. You have the 73.5 head tube angle for people who like to do nose manuals and do tricks and endos like that. It makes it easier with a steeper head tube angle. Then you also have the frame, which it says it right here. I don't even know why I went through that whole thing because it says it right in the description that the front triangle with integrated head tube and seat post clamp is chromoly. So that's just the front triangle is the only part that's chromoly. The rear end is high 10. That's how you keep the price point down, but you have to keep that into consideration as you get better as a rider. If you're a pro rider, probably wouldn't recommend this one. If you're somebody who's just starting and you want to save some money, that's cool, but just keep in mind that if somebody starts going big with the jumps, you start hacking jumps and things like that, you're going to wind up with an issue sooner or later. I know people have seen videos of bikes breaking in half. This is the reason why. Because you get better on the bike, but you didn't upgrade your bike. So the forks on this bike are high 10 as well. So that's another thing you'll have to upgrade. It also adds weight to the bike. High 10 is heavier than chromoly and aluminum and carbon. So you have to keep that in mind that this bike is going to be a little bit heavier with high 10 parts. So it has high 10 steel with a chromoly steerer tube. That's good. The chromoly steerer tube means it's going to be a little bit stronger. So when you come up short off a jump, at least the steerer tube will hold you down. 8.25 inch rise. 100% chromoly handlebars, which is good because you don't want your handlebars to be high 10. You don't want to be worrying about your handlebars breaking if you get good. So definitely good to have chromoly bars. You have a mid-bottom bracket, and the bike weighs 26.2 pounds. And you can definitely get that number down by changing the high 10 forks out. That'll definitely lighten the bike up a little bit, but you can't change out the high 10 rear triangle. That ain't happening. So that is the DK 6-pack 24, $469.99, coming in that nice blue colorway. I don't know if that's the only colorway, but that's the colorway I put on our website. So that's what it is right there. All right, next up, we got a big player in the game, big player in the game. We got the Meybo, 2024 Meybo Patron Cruiser Pro 22. This bike comes in at $22.99. That's a hefty price right there. You see a lot of pros racing with this, a lot of international pros racing and winning with this bike. So the frame is actually 6061 T6 aluminum. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of that today. The forks are Box 1 X5 carbon forks, tapered 20 millimeter through axle. The bigger 20 millimeter axle makes the bike roll smoother, roll faster. It's way better than having a 10 millimeter axle on your bike. You have the FSA tapered headset. You have SD Chromoly Pro handlebars, which are 5.75 inch rise. You have a CNC SD stem, the SD grips, Shimano brake lever, hydraulic brake lever, Shimano hydraulic calipers. You have the carbon SD M5 rims. This bike also has a SD Ace Pro front hub. You have the SD Ace Pro cassette in the rear, Tioga Faster tires, Box 2 Pro seat, SD QR seat clamp, SD Pro hollow 4-hole 175 millimeter crankset, SD CNC 6061 V2 4-hole 41 tooth black chain ring, KMC chain, Meybo integrated chain tensioners, and you have the Wellgo pedals, Wellgo platform pedals. SD parts might be Meybo's top of the line parts brand. I'm not sure. I have to check that out. Maybe I'll put some information on the screen right now, but as of this taping, I don't know what SD is. I don't know if SD is Meybo's brand or if SD is another brand, but they're definitely a high-end brand that Meybo uses for their parts because there's mad SD parts on this bike right yeah. Meybo has a whole bunch of bikes in their lineup, and the next one is the 2024 Meybo Superclass Cruiser. This one has SD Pro Cruiser forks. It has the SD Chromo handlebars, SD stem, SD grips. It's got Clark's Clout hydraulic brake lever, Clark's Clout 1 hydraulic caliper, brake caliper, SD Base Pro hub, SD Base Pro cassette disc hub in the back, Tioga power blocks, SD QRC clamp, SD bottom bracket, KMC chain, integrated Meybo chain tensioners, and the Wellgo pedal. So the big difference on this bike are the forks. It has SD Pro forks as opposed to the box forks on the other model. It also has some less expensive disc brakes and less expensive parts, but it has a lot of SD parts in this bike too. Then Meybo has an even more affordable 24-inch BMX cruiser, the 2024 Meybo Clipper Disc Cruiser Pro 22, which comes in at $799, which is a whole lot cheaper than the other two bikes. So it's got SD forks, SD chromo handlebars. It has less SD parts on it, so like the grips and the brake lever and the stem don't even have a name. Actually, the brake lever does have a name. It's the Clark's CH19 brake lever. Then you have the caliper, which is the Clark's hydraulic CH19 120mm disc brakes. You just have Pro double wall rims on this one, but you do have the SD front hub and the SD rear hub. The spokes, the nipples, no name. You have V speed boosters on this bike as opposed to the Tioga. You have an SD pivotal seat. The crankset is the SD Pro 175mm cranks. You also have the KMC chain and the Meybo integrated chain tensioner. So you have less SD parts, less high-end parts on this bike, which brings the price down. But it doesn't end there. It does not end there. Meybo has another frame. They have the 2024 Meybo Clipper Cruiser Pro 22. This is pretty much the same frame as the other one, except this one has V-brakes as opposed to disc brakes. Then it still don't stop there. It's still going on with the Meybo. Meybo got a 2024 tlnt Cruiser Pro 22. Comes in at $579. This one has V-brakes as well. It's an aluminum frame, but the forks are full high 10 forks, SD handlebars, SD grips, Tektro brakes, Tektro brake caliper, so you have less expensive brakes on this bike. But you do have V tires, it has V speed boosters, it has the SD pivotal seat, it has the SD Pro crankset, bottom brackets are no name, the cog is no name, chain ring, they don't even tell you the name of the chain ring, and the chain tensioners are just some generic chain tensioners. It's not the Meybo chain tensioners. And the pedals are just alloy, so you don't have a name for those either. So Meybo is giving you a whole lot of options when it comes to complete BMX cruiser frames. And yeah, shout out to Meybo for that. Is there more Meybo? Oh, there's another Meybo. Wait a minute. Hold on. There's another Meybo. 2024 Meybo Booster, big booster, which comes in at $469.95. So that's the cheapest one right there. But it's the sexiest looking one. I like the way it looks with the white wall tires on there. It looks real dope. Has a lot of style. But the top tube does look pretty short on there. I didn't get to put the specs of the frame, geometry specs of the frame. I just put down what was listed. A Meybo Booster aluminum frame. You have chromoly forks, no name. You have the Neko seat, Tektro brake lever, Tektro brake caliper. It doesn't look like there's any SD parts on here at all. You have Kenda tires on here. Everything else is pretty much no name. Even the chain tensioners are no name. They have something for every budget in the Meybo selection, but I'm not sure about sizes. 2024 Monza BMX coming in that gold colorway with Skyway, with some black Skyway mags on there, tough wheels, you know what I'm saying? Coming in at $13.95. The one thing about Monza I really like is that the frame is made out of tange. Is it tangi or chan? I say tan, but I think it's actually pronounced tangi. Anybody who's watching this in the comments below, how do I pronounce this? Tangi or tange? Anyways, the frame and fork is made out of tange or tangi, 4130 chromoly tubing. Top tube length on this bad boy is 22.5, which means they're thinking about the OGs out there, the taller riders out there, but it does have a laid back seat post on it. So it's even longer than that. So the rider area is even longer with this laid back seat post. So you also have the paint job on there is PVD gold. That's the finish. You got the tough wheels in black, heat treated chromoly handlebars. You have a Tange integrated headset. You got a Monza alloy stem, Diacomp brakes. You have a Monza seat on there. You have Tange seat post clamp. You have a Monza edition classic Tange grip, chromoly 175mm 3-piece cranks. You got a mid-bottom bracket, a Monza gold chain, Kenda Comp 3 tires, Monza bear trap pedals, and the complete bike weighs 26.9 pounds. Alright, so they have some of the dimensions on it. The head tube angle is 73 degrees. The seat tube angle is 70 degrees. And that's pretty much it with the Monza BMX in that gold colorway. Monza has a whole bunch of bikes. They got 24-inch, 26-inch, and they are representing the old school with a new twist and with their own style. Then we got the Model C, the Sunday Model C, coming in at $599.99, which is a great price for a complete bike. This one is the Sunday Model C. It's 22-inch top tube, which is also great. We like those long top tubes on the bike. 100% chromoly frame. frame, which is good. Integrated 1 1/8 head tube. The usual good stuff. The forks is the Sunday Model C 24-inch fork. XL OEM 2-piece handlebars. You got the Sunday Freeze top load stem. You got FSA integrated conical headset. You have Sunday M16 aluminum alloy cap. Odyssey Springfield brake lever. Odyssey Springfield U-brake. Odyssey quick slick brake cable. Odyssey Brock Railford grips. Odyssey monogram pivotal seat. Sunday pivotal 300mm seat post. Sunday quick release seat post clamp. A Sunday Sabertooth V2 25 tooth steel sprocket. 175 3-piece chromoly cranks. Sealed mid bottom bracket. You got Odyssey Twist PC Pro pedals. You got Odyssey Stage 1 rim. You got a Sunday low flange hub in the front and a Sunday sealed 14mm axle. The 10-tooth driver in the rear hub. You got Odyssey Pursuit OEM tires. AMC Z1 chain. The head tube angle 74.5. That's steep. That's steep. That's made for tricks. That's made for tricks all day with the steepness. 71 degrees. C-tube angle. Chain stay length is 14.6 to 14.85, which is nice and short for a cruiser. So you can get that nice jump action in. And the bottom bracket height sits at a tall 13.75. Standover height is 9.25. So this bike is made for tricks, for the trails, the street riding. But don't get it twisted. If you put the right parts in that bike, you can go race it too. I don't know if this is a 2025 or not, but the Model C, they always come with some new colors with their Model C. Then you have this company called Jet, and they have the Accelerator 24 coming in at $359.99. So you already know that the parts on here are gonna be affordable. Let's put it that way. They're gonna be affordable. So you have the frame is made out of 6061 aluminum, which is good. So it means you can upgrade the frame, and it can probably handle a little bit of abuse on the track at least. You have a top tube length of 21.75, head tube angle 73, seat tube angle 71. The forks are high 10 steel, so you already know what you gotta do with those. The bars are high 10 steel. So you already know what you got to do with those. Change those things first. If you're a brand new rider and you don't do tricks, you're just cruising around, that's fine. But once you start hitting the track, start jumping and doing things like that, you definitely want to change the high 10 stuff out. For number one, the weight. You will save a whole lot of weight if you take those forks and bars off. And you also will less likely crack those joints early in the game. It's got V-brakes, regular schmegular stuff on there, no name stuff on there. But it does have the Horizon XL R8 tires, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't tell you the weight, doesn't tell you what the weight is, but mostly everything on the bike is pretty much generic standard parts. Next up in the game, we have the SC Bikes Flowable Flyer, $799.99. This bike right here is one of the best bikes you can get for the buck. All the SC BMX racing frames come in 66 aluminum, which is stiffer and lighter than 6061, so you're going to save some weight off the bike with that. So it's a SC, so you have the flowable top tube, and you also have the bi-oval down tube and tapered rear stays for maximum stiffness. It comes with landing gear forks with the tapered legs. It has 6061 T6 alloy CNC stem with a hidden top cap for a clean look, 2-piece alloy crank set, SC pivotal seat and seat posts, Alienation Deviant and black sheep rims built with sealed cassette hub. You have the VMK3 tires. The bike comes in at 23.5 pounds out the box. What? That's light. 23.5 pounds for a cruiser? That's light. Top tube. Actual top tube is 21.2. Seat tube center to top is 10.8 inches. The seat tube angle is 73, and the head tube angle is 73.5. Chainstay length is 15.4, and the wheelbase is 38.6. Bottom bracket is 12 inches tall. This bike right here is a solid bike. I had one for a while. Big shout out to my boy Mike Wicken over there at Team Corrosive. They laced me up with one of these frames, and I really enjoyed riding that frame. So yeah, big shout out to SC Bikes. But there's more SC bike action going on in the 24-inch realm. You have the SoCal Flyer 24-inch, which comes in at $649.99. It comes in 3 different colors. This is one of them right here. This one is a 6061 aluminum flowable tubing frame with internal headset, mid-bottom bracket, and SC Wave dropouts. Double wall rims with alloy hubs. The SC Bozak tires. The SC SoCal flyer seat, FSA internal headset. Retro top load stem with hidden top cap for a clean look, of course. 3-piece tubular cranks with custom SC racing sprocket, SC nylon fiber pedals, and SC wheelie pegs and alloy valve caps included. Straight out of France, we got the Sunn Royal Finest. Sunn Royal Finest coming in at $12.12. A little bit more in the States, of course. And this one has a 6069 edge tubing alloy. So this is different than the rest of the other ones. We also have the Sunn carbon forks, which are T800 carbon. You got the Box 3 crankset. You got Tektro brakes. You got the Mach 1 clicks rims, Chosen hubs, V-Speed booster tires, Sunn handlebars, chromoly all day. You got the Sunn LED Tech chromo handlebars, pivotal seat, pivotal saddle, and you have Pro and Pro XL sizes for this cruiser right here. We got the Radio Helium, 2024 Radio Helium, which looks just like the 2023. And I think the 2022 Radio Helium cruiser, which is a really nice bike right there. The frame is 6061 T6 aluminum, tapered head tube, forged dropouts with integrated chain tensioners. You got a chromoly fork, 1 1/8 butted steerer, chromoly fork legs, 30mm offset. You have 4130 chromoly bars. You got the Radio Raceline Xenon grips. You got Radio Raceline Xenon Pro top load stem. A lot of radio parts on this bike since they have their own part line. Radio Raceline Pro headset. You got the Pro Max brake lever, Pro Max brakes. This bike has V brakes on it. Radio Raceline Xenon Pro 2-piece crank, cold forged CNC alloy, 180mm length, 24mm spindle on these bad boys right here. You have a Raceline BSA 24 bottom bracket, external bearing cups, of course, CNC machined and sealed. So you got some nice bells and whistles on that. You got the Raceline Xenon slim pedals. These are alloy pedals. You got a KMC Z6 chain. You have a Raceline Xenon Pro sprocket, which is 41 tooth, and then you have an 18 tooth Radio Raceline cog. Radio Raceline Xenon front hub, alloy CNC fully sealed, 36T 3/8 chromo axles. The rear hub is Radio Raceline Xenon CNC fully sealed, 36T. It's a disc brake axle, but as you can see in the photo that I got from the website, that there's no disc brakes on it. It's V brakes. Radio Raceline seat, Radio Raceline seat post, Radio Raceline seat post clamp, Tioga power block tires. Top tube length on this bike is 22 inches. Chainstay length 15.15, which I like because it's a little bit shorter than the other one. So it means the bike for me would have more responsiveness, agility, and playfulness. Bottom bracket height is 12 inches. Head tube angle 74, which is my favorite degree on pretty much every size bike I ride. Seat tube angle 71 degrees, and the handlebar height is 6.1. Handlebar width is 26.75. The back sweep on the handlebars is 8 degrees. Up sweep on the handlebars is 2 degrees. And the full weight of the bike itself is 22.79 pounds. Really good weight for the bike. And I'm pretty cool that they gave you the different geometry on the handlebar. Next up, we got the Race Inc. RA24 coming in at $499.99. This bike right here is inspired from the vintage era. You know, you have a 6061 T6 aluminum frame and fork that features a classic Race Inc. loop tail, rear end, and classic Race Inc. gusset combined with modern 20mm slotted dropouts. Add to that a parts package that includes Race Inc. chromoly forks made by Tange and Box 3 brakes and lever. I think it's Tangi. It might be Tangi, not Tange. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, of course. This bike has a 1 1/8 head tube, American bottom bracket shell, classic loop tail, classic Race Inc. head tube and bottom bracket gusset, classic wraparound seat stay gusset, classic Race Inc. 10mm to 20mm compatible dropouts, internal brake cable routing. That's all the information they gave us on this bike right here. It comes in that silver and blue color scheme, which looks pretty cool. I also think it comes in a silver and red colorway as well. Next on the list, we got Thruster. Thruster came back after a long hiatus. They came back and started making some BMX bikes. This is the same one they had for, I think, the last 2 years. This is the Tri-Power Pro XL coming in at $659.99. A true blast from the past. The Tri-Power Pro XL is equipped with the signature tri-bar design from the original 1970s Thruster bike. They upgraded the frame to a lightweight 6061 aluminum and the fork to a chromoly steel. Added a super wide 27-inch handlebar, and this reinvigorated classic is ready to shred. The bike right here, 6061 aluminum frame, chromoly fork, double wall rim. They have lock-on grips. alloy stem. It has V brakes. It has alloy platform pedals, 170mm cranks, 32 tooth chain wheel, 16 tooth free wheel, and it comes in at 27 pounds. So this bike has a lot of non-branded parts on there to keep the price down a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Thruster doing their thing. Tri-bar. Then we have the Stay Strong Major 24 coming in at $314.99. This bike has been around for a couple of years, but it's still available on the Stay Strong site. So what do we have here? We have a chromoly top tube and down tube that already gives you the red flag saying that the whole entire bike is not chromoly, just the top tube and the down tube, not the seat tube or the chain stay or the seat stays. Only the top tube and the down tube are chromoly, which means you have to be very cautious if you're somebody who's intermediate, expert, or pro level rider. Really want to not get busy on this bike. Then that's the reason why it's $314.99, because this is a cheaper built frame, but something to get you started. If you're young, if you're a brand new person getting on the bike, just learning how to do tricks and things like that, this could be a bike for you, but you have to upgrade it if you get better. Top tube length is 21.75, chainstay length is 14.75. You see the street bikes, the trick bikes have shorter rear ends, shorter chainstay length, because that's for doing them tricks, getting the bunny hops in, doing those manuals and hitting those trails, getting that height off those jumps. The shorter rear end gives you the ability to make that happen. Head tube angle 74.5, which is nice and steep for tricks, doing G-turns and endos and nose manuals, nose picks, all the nose trick stuff. That's what that's meant for, with the steep steering angle, also for having that quickness of the turn, so you could do, you know, bunny hop 180s and things like that a little bit easier. C-tube angle 70 degrees. The forks are chromoly steerer tube and tapered high 10 leg. So keep that in mind. It has a chromoly steerer tube, but it's got high 10 leg. The handlebars are high 10. So all this stuff right here for a person like me who rides and likes to jump and do crazy things and wants a bike that's a little bit lighter, high 10 are the things I would have to change off of this bike. And also, I wouldn't buy this bike for myself because it's not 100% chromoly, not 100% 4130 chromoly, which is what I would want in a chromoly frame. And it also adds weight to it if the rear end is high 10. It doesn't even tell you what the rear end is. It just tells you that the front end, the top tube and down tube, is chromoly. It doesn't even tell you what material is being used in the back. But we know, you and me know, they're talking high 10s on the rest of that bike. So you have an alloy top load stem, integrated headset, removable brake mounts, U-brakes, double-walled front rim, 14mm rear hub with a double-walled rim on the back too. The tires are 2.3, so these are some beefy tires on here. Has a 28-tooth sprocket, 3-piece chromoly 170mm tubular cranks with a pinch bolt, 19mm mid-bottom bracket, nylon pedals, seat and seat post combo, gear ratio 28:10, and the weight on this bike is 27.5, which isn't too bad. 27.5 isn't too bad considering what the bike has on it. But you definitely, you know, if, like I said, if you're intermediate, if you like to jump big, you do a lot of bunny hops, do a lot of jumps and stuff like that, definitely want to be cautious, especially if you're older and heavier. Be cautious on a bike like that. Know what I mean? All right, gonna keep it real with y'all. Keeping it real with y'all today. It's not, we're not even playing. So next up is the Stay Strong Power Pro 24-inch, coming in at $549.99. It's a 6061 aluminum frame. It's got disc brakes on it, silver and yellow and black colorway. Color scheme actually, which looks really nice. It's really pops, sticks out, looks cool. I'm also liking the rims with the matching branding on the rims, which is really cool. The top tube is 21.75, chainstay length is 15.2, which is like a standard in cruiser sizes. Most of the cruiser racing sizes that we saw, the BMX racing cruisers, have that 15.2 chainstay length, which must be a sweet spot. Head tube angle 73, a little more relaxed for hitting the turns and berms at high speeds. C-tube angle is 70 degrees. The forks, full chromoly forks, 4130. Handlebars are chromoly, coming in with a 5.75 rise. Forged alloy stem, 50mm reach, so it's a 50mm long stem. Sealed integrated headset, frame mounted disc brake, doesn't tell you the name, so it's no name, which helps you keep the price down. Mechanical disc brakes with alloy lever, doesn't have no name. All the no name parts on the bike is what helps keep the price down on the bike. These are the standard parts that manufacturers get when they're making complete bikes and when they keep the cost down. But you do have Tioga Power Block tires on there, and you have an ISIS bottom bracket. You have a Stay Strong Slim combo seat and seat post, and the gear ratio on this bike is 42/16, and it weighs 25.5 pounds, which is a decent weight for what you get on this bike right here. So this one is it's a good frame that you can upgrade for racing. It has disc brake mounts on it, so you can upgrade your disc brakes. You can upgrade everything on this bike because a lot of it is just, you know, generic stuff to get you started, and that's a good thing. You need bikes that can get you in the door at a good price point, but still be good enough to upgrade when it comes to that. Now, next up on the list, y'all, we got the Stolen Saint coming in at $439.99. This is another frame that hasn't really changed in the last couple of years, if I can remember correctly. Did a couple of these lists, and this bike showed up looking the same. So it's 100% 4130 chromoly frame with S-bend chainstays for bigger tires, integrated head tube, mid-bottom bracket shell. The forks are 4130 chromoly with tapered legs, notch dropouts, and one-piece steerer with a compressor top cap. Handlebars is a tall boy 2-piece chromoly 8-inch rise bars. Stolen Team flange grips. Fiction Spartan top load stem, which has a 52mm reach. Then you got the Fiction Savage sealed integrated headset. You got Stolen Mob V3 tubular cranks, which are 4130 chromoly, 175mm. 6061 alloy Stolen sprocket. It's got sealed mid-bottom bracket. Stolen Thermalite pedals with chromoly spindle. Front hub is a Stolen Rampage. Rear hub is a Stolen Rampage, 14mm. 6061 alloy, fully sealed cassette hub. Stolen Rampage rims. Integrated C-post clamp. Fiction Atlas LP 2.3 tires, so those are some thick tires on there, and this bike weighs approximately 25 pounds. All right, so this bike it has some things on it. It has some treats. It's a good frame, so you can take this to the street, to the trail. You can also take it to the track. You know, you have to do some mods to get it track ready. But this bike is ready for some action at a pretty decent price point. Shout out to Stolen. You got the Eastern Commando 24-inch coming in at $399.99. This bike right here has a laid-back seat, which makes it look kind of weird. It has that camouflage colorway on the decals. Also has a camouflage seat. It's a fully chromoly frame. Top tube is a 22-inch top tube. 15.4 chainstay length, which is a little bit longer than the other bikes. Got the Commando V bars, which is high tensile steel. So you already know high tensile steel. Beware with the high tensile steel. High tensile steel forks. So you have that. The forks have a 23mm rake. So it doesn't have a dropout. This rakes, as you can see in the picture, it's just all part of that fork. So it has like a rake which bends the fork out. Be 32mm. I've been talking for a long time and my throat right here getting all kind of, you know, dusty. So I gotta finish this up soon here. We getting to the end of this list though. All right, we have a forged alloy front load stem. You have Eastern Atom 3-piece cranks, which are heat treated tubular chromoly, 175mm. Alloy bottom brackets with sealed bearings. Eastern Maxim sprocket. 36 tooth KMC chain. Everything else on here is pretty much no name. Sealed bearings, sealed this, sealed that. Chromoly axles, alloy single wall drilled rim, 14 gauge spokes with brass nipples, and the tires are 24 by 1.95. So that's pretty much it with the Eastern. Has pretty much generic parts on there to keep the price down a little bit. High 10 is fine if you're just cruising around, but if you're trying to go to the trails and jump and do tricks, get quarter pipes and things like that, you definitely want to take the high 10 parts out of your bike. That's what I recommend. You gonna do what you gonna do. You might be good like that with the high 10. Me personally, I wouldn't rock the high 10. I'm just gonna keep it real. We have to keep it real, right? I'm keeping it real. SC Bikes Basher 24-inch. This is part of their new line of kids bikes. So it's kids specific geometry 24-inch BMX bike to get the kids started. Comes in at $379.99, and this bike is ready for some action for the smaller kids who want to ride a BMX cruiser. So SC Bike says the Basher bike was first introduced to the SC line during the first BMX boom and the brand's inception. The legendary bike is making its return this year in multiple new sizes built specifically for kids. The new 24-inch Basher styling and lightweight frame is built with 6061 aluminum and features a low standover height, legendary loop tail rear end, and retro dropouts. The 24-inch frame is perfectly sized for growing kids who are ready to explore the neighborhood and beyond by bike. So you heard it, lightweight 6061 aluminum frame featuring an ultra low standover height and loop tail rear end. It's got V brakes. It's got the landing gear forks, SC handlebar pads for protection. The top tube length is 20.4 inches. Seat tube center to top is 10.7 inches. Seat tube angle is 72. Head tube angle 74. Chainstay length 15.9 inches. Whoa, that's long. Wheelbase 37.7. Bottom bracket height 12.4. Standover is 24.7. The suggested rider height for this bike is 4 feet 6 inches all the way through to 5'4", and ages 9 through 12 is the recommended age group. The stem is a 50 millimeter reach stem. Handlebars are 25.5 wide. 165 millimeter cranks. You got landing gear forks with the cowboy cut, but they're high tensile steel landing gear forks. So these aren't the full blast 4130 landing gear forks, which helps keep the price down. It's made for kids, so it'll last a lot longer with the kids. But if you want to lighten the bike up, you want a quick way to lighten the bike up, definitely you could change the forks out. But if you're like a young 9-year-old, 12-year-old, you're not going to be breaking high 10 that easily. So I wouldn't worry that much about the high 10 on a kid's bike. Unless that kid is like these kids you see on Instagram doing double backflips and things like that, then you're going to have to worry about it. But for the most part, most kids, you won't have to worry about the high 10 steel. You have one piece, 165 millimeter crankset, 33 tube sprocket, resin platform pedals, KMC chain. You got V brakes. You have alloy 2-finger brake levers. You have a SC racing seat, mushroom grips. You have a SC straight post seat post, which is also high 10. So that's another place you can save weight if you replace that seat post and get something lighter like an aluminum seat post. You can do that. All right, y'all. So basically what happened was I recorded this whole video and I went to the Crupi site, and Crupi had the Catalina on there. So that the Catalina Mini Cruiser, the Expert Cruiser, Junior Cruiser, I believe. And when I came back to the site, when I started editing this video, turns out that they have a 2.0 now. So they have an updated version of the Catalina. So they have the Catalina 2.0, and this is the Catalina 2.0 Mini. It's going for $1749.99, which features the newest frame design and their built-in disc brake adapter, but still has V-brake mounts. So you can run either type of brake. It has a 17.75 top tube length. This bike is recommended for riders who are 4'3" to 4'5". All the Crupi completes are fully customizable. You can choose your frame color, your parts, the color package, and then all the part sizes from the drop-down menu on the right side of the website. So I might as well go there and show y'all that, huh? So as you can see right here, you could choose the handlebar size, you could choose the crank size, the chain ring size, rear cog size, and so on. Catalina Mini Cruiser has a top tube length of 17.75 inches, 71-degree head tube angle. It's got the 1-inch integrated head tube size. It's got a 10.75 millimeter bottom bracket height. The rear end length is 14 to 15.5 inches, which is a lot of adjustability right there. The Junior Cruiser is for riders 4'5" to 4'7". It's got an 18.5-inch top tube. It's got a 72.5-degree head tube angle. It's got a 71 seat tube angle. Bottom bracket height is 11 inches. It also has a 14 to 15.5 inch rear. The Catalina Expert Cruiser is for riders 4'7" to 5'1". It has a 19.625 inch top tube length. It's got a 72.5 head tube angle, 71 seat tube angle, 11.5 bottom bracket height, and it also has a rear end of a 14 to 15.5 inch. Then you have the Expert Excel Cruiser, which is for riders 5'1" to 5'5", and that's got a 20.625 top tube length. It's got a 73-degree head tube angle, 11.5-inch bottom bracket height, and this one has a little bit longer rear end with a 14.5 to 16-inch rear end. Next up, you have the Level Pro Cruiser. This is their pro size cruiser for adults. It comes in at $1898.99. So this is a pricey cruiser. It also has the customizations like the other bikes. You go on the website and you pick the sizes you want, the tires, everything that you want. And this is the Level Pro Cruiser. Complete, features a tapered head tube and is recommended for riders 5'3" to 5'6". The larger diameter tubing on this frame is made for riders who need a stiffer, stronger frame. Butted tubing keeps this bike super light, and the ability to choose your own part sizes provide a custom fit for any rider perfectly. So, yep, more customizations on the completes, and you can get all the different parts that you want off the website which is pretty cool. So you can custom build your joint straight off the Crupi website. Pretty dope. So as of this taping, they have not made the level 2.0. This is still the level pro, so they don't have the specs on it or anything. But yeah, you can go on the website and you can grab yourself a level. And then last but not least, you also have on the Crupi website, they also are the home of SRC, and the SRC has a cruiser frame coming, but they don't have it up yet. There's no photos of the SRC cruiser frame, but they do have some specs on it. They're going to have the SRC Pro Cruiser Complete, the SRC Pro XL Cruiser Complete, and the SRC Pro Double XL Cruiser Complete. So they have 3 different sizes for the SRC Pro Cruiser. It's going to come in at $2109.99. So it's a really pricey one. And it'll come in black, white, red, and blue. And that's it, y'all. That's the list right there. It's the ultimate 2025 list of 24-inch BMX cruisers. That's what I had at the time. 2 months ago, I made this article. So who knows what's going on right now. I might have to make a new one in a couple of weeks because, of course, you know, some new bikes might be dropping. So stay tuned because if there's some new stuff, I will be posting it on sugarcane.com. Definitely come back to sugarcane.com for articles like this. I also have a 20-inch bike list. I have a frame list. There's a bunch of lists on sugarcane.com you come back and check out. So let me know which one of these bikes right here was your favorite, like your top 3. Go in the comments on this video or go back to sugarcane.com and go in the comments and let me know which 3 bikes were your favorite. Which was your top 3 bikes out of all the bikes in this list right here. All right. So got more stuff coming. Keep it locked. Sign up, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Crazy Out Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, and I'm out. Back to you, Billy.